I'm sure we can all relate to this. At the beginning of the semester, or maybe a new month, mid-semester, we just suddenly make this resolution that for this semester we want to be serious. So the first thing you do is what? You create a study timetable, you pack in your courses that you're going to study, you plan to study like maybe 6 hours a day, and it looks perfect on the first day, second day, but later you realize that you start to fall. Today you read 2 hours less than the plan. Next tomorrow you don't read at all, and before you know, you just dump the timetable and you don't use it again. I've been there and I know exactly what caused this. In this video, I'm going to be telling you why your study timetable fails and how you can solve this issue so that the next study timetable you make, you don't have to stop using it mid-semester. So let's get right into the video. Now, the first thing you want to note is that the main reason people do study timetable, is because they are at the peak of motivation. So they are very motivated at that point in time. Maybe it's the beginning of a semester, mid-semester, whatever. They just listened to someone, they just attended a program, and now they are geared towards academic excellence. And you know what motivation does? It makes you feel like you can be the person to do something that, so long as it has been done before, even if it has not been done before, that you can really want to break that record. So I get it. But the thing is, motivation sometimes creates unrealistic ambition. So you that you normally would sleep overnight, you put in your study timetable that you will be waking up every 2 a.m. to read for 3 to 4 hours. You that you get distracted easily, you say you're going to be reading for so hours. You who is always tired after class, you say immediately after class you're going to read for 1 hour, 2 hours, right? And at first it's great because you created the timetable, but you go back to default and it's not sustainable. So the first thing you want to do when you're creating your study timetable is to create it outside of the facade that motivation gives. So yes, you're feeling motivated, yes, you feel like you can take over the world, you can do something now and get it done. But now that you're thinking about you want to study 6 hours, ask yourself that can you on a typical day sit down and study for 6 hours? You that you're putting that you want to wake up every night to study, are you a night reader? You that you put that you want to be studying very early in the morning, are you an early riser? You that you want to study immediately after class, are you someone who doesn't get so fatigued that after class you just want to eat and sleep? You are putting study session immediately after classes, putting study session immediately after meetings. Is this something that you can do and you can maintain? This is something you want to create outside of the motivation. So while creating your timetable when you're very motivated is not a problem, I need you to think outside of when you are not motivated, because the problem is if you now create a timetable and you cannot sustain it for long, you abandon it. And that issue your timetable has is that there is no recovery system, in the sense that Monday to Saturday your timetable is packed, you're studying back to back, creating unrealistic goals that even BGS does not have, right? So what you want to do is that you want to leave space for light days, space for only reviews, space for studying with somebody, right? You are creating a study timetable and there's no space for active recall. You mean you're going to read something today and the next time you're going to visit is that day next week, 7 days from that day? You mean you're going to read something today and you're not going to visit it until whenever again, because that's not what's on your timetable? It's not going to work for you. Apart from the fact that you're going to get tired, it will become counterproductive, because you're making a timetable for you to be more productive, but you realize that you end up rereading multiple times the things that you should just read once, because you read it today, then the next day you forgot to do some active recall. So how about, instead of putting 3 hours studying for this, you give yourself 45 minutes to recall what you studied yesterday, and then you now read that topic for 2.5 hours. You want to create something that works for you. So don't create a study timetable with someone. Like, you guys read together so much that your timetable is the same. Like, oh, today we're reading this, so both of us are reading this. You need to have your personal timetable, because no two persons are the same. That's why I said there must be rooms for the group studying. Sometimes it will be for you to study this and you rather study with somebody else, but not like all your timetable is now built on this is the time that works for somebody. So you put shares 50-50. Okay, we'll put it here. We'll put this one here because it works for you. Put this one here because it works for you. It's going to be counterproductive to you that you own the timetable. The purpose of your timetable is not to prove that you are disciplined or you are the most serious person. It's to help you when you are not disciplined. So when you don't feel like reading, when you know that you should be doing something but you rather do another thing else, it is your timetable that calls you back and be like, oh, I didn't do this yesterday. I didn't do this day before yesterday. I did not do this today. I should definitely do this tomorrow, right? So see your timetable as something that will call you back when you're already slacking. Now, when you're calling yourself back when you're already slacking, you already know that you can't start with something too hard, something too serious, something too difficult. You have to start with something slow, slight, something realistic, right? So see your timetable like that, okay, on my lowest day, this is how I want to read. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So that, because if you create your timetable for when you're highly motivated, it becomes infeasible for you when you're not motivated. But if you create your timetable for when you're not motivated, you can even do more than what is on the timetable when you're highly motivated. You get the trick behind it. Another thing again is to change your timetable from time to time. Don't create one timetable for yourself and say, this is what I'm going to stick to till the end of the semester. This is how I'm going to be reading for the rest of the semester. Alter your timetable per time. So maybe after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, you want to change your timetable. You don't want it to become monotonous. Like, I'm tired of reading English every Tuesday. Can I read another course on Tuesday, right? So you want to be changing your timetable per time. When your exam comes out, you already know that you can't keep using that same timetable, because you want to create a reading timetable that is now aligned with the examination timetable. Another mistake a lot of people make is that they don't create their timetable with the school timetable. So you're supposed to use your own semester timetable. The way you have classes is supposed to determine how you read, because you want to take cognizance courses that need to be read before class. You want to take cognizance courses that should be read after class, right? So you need to put your class timetable side by side with your study timetable. Is it balanced? Is it in tandem? Or are you just reading what you did last week Wednesday on Monday? Another problem with your timetable is that you prioritize intensity over productivity. So you just want to study for 5 hours, and on paper it looks good. I mean, you're studying for 5 hours straight, no break, covering a lot of courses, right? But then the truth is, your timetable wants to be something that when you don't feel like studying, it calls you back that let's get back to our feet and let's get back in this manner. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yes, it looks impressive on paper, but it's not something that's supposed to look heroic. It's something that's supposed to look helpful. For some people, they don't believe in study timetable, while some, they believe it's just not sustainable for them at some point. And I'm sure with this video, I've been able to give you the tip. I do study timetable. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just for a limited period. So let's say I was sick for like 2 weeks, I come back and I have to draw out a timetable for how to cover up within the next 3 weeks, right? Something like that. Because now there are a lot of things I've missed, and then we're also working in class, in school. So I need to find a way to work out everything, and a timetable is usually my go-to. So I hope with these few points, I've been able to help you to know how to create your study timetable in such a way that it is created properly. Let me also mention that your timetable should be side by side with your semester timetable, like you want it to be aligned. Another problem your timetable has is that because you create it in such a time when you're very motivated, you tell yourself within so hours you want to cover like 5 topics. Like, who covers 5 topics under 3 hours, for instance? So because you're not able to meet up today, right, you move it to tomorrow, then you move the backlog to the next day and the next day, and before you know it, the timetable is scattered, is no longer feasible or sustainable for you anymore, and it now takes us back to the question of what was the point initially. So I hope with this video I've been able to tell you the issues that your timetable is having, why it's not working for you, and how you can make it work for you. I don't recommend doing one timetable and just sticking to it throughout the whole semester. Try to change it from time to time, and if you were to this point, you definitely deserve to know that first of all, you're an OG. And then I have my ebook. As somebody who maintained the first class in my first to final year of university, I put in this ebook titled I Dictate My Grades, how you can dictate your grades, the tips and tricks of how I was able to do it and how you can. So I mean, I know you're a student, so the book is just going for 2,000 naira only, so make sure to click the link in the description box, and I will see you in my next video. Subscribe. Bye.